Hello there, everyone. It's Ariel, Helwani, and Marc Raimondi of ESPN. It's Thursday afternoon, and we've got some breaking news. We've been reporting on the Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier talks for the past several weeks, and on Thursday morning, we got confirmation that Conor McGregor has, in fact, signed his bout agreement to return to action on January 23rd in the main event of UFC 257 against Dustin Poirier, a rematch of a fight that happened back at UFC 178 in September of 2014. Now, this was first reported by McGregor's own website, The Mac Life. We subsequently confirmed it with McGregor himself. And so we know last week that Dustin, who was viewed as the more, bigger hurdle, if you will, to make this fight into a reality, he signed his bout agreement last week. So that was a done deal. And then we find out this morning that McGregor signed his bout agreement. So the fight is good to go. It is officially done. We'll talk about it right here, Marc and I, and get you all set with all the breaking news. Marc, we know that it's 155. We know it's happening in the main event. It's a lightweight main event. For now, Dana White says no title will be on the line. We also don't know where it's going to take place. Dana White told ESPN's Brett Okamoto last week that if everything goes according to plan, quote unquote, it will be on Fight Island. But I'm told the bout agreement as of right now says TBD. It's looking like Fight Island, but it's not 100% going to be at Fight Island as of this moment right now. Regardless, we know the fight's going down at 155. Let me ask you this. Did the UFC get this one right? You can go in a million different directions with Conor McGregor, right? There are so many different options for him. Do you like the direction they went in, the Dustin Poirier rematch?
I do. I think they definitely got it right. I like this fight for McGregor. It makes sense. I mean, McGregor, it's interesting because he beat Cowboy Cerrone, of course, earlier this year in January. Impressive win, 42nd knockout. But when was the last time he really fought another contender in the UFC lightweight division who was coming off a win? It was Khabib Nurmagomedov in 2018. And then when was the last time he actually beat a contender in the UFC lightweight division? That was Eddie Alvarez at UFC 205 back in 2016. So it's been a while. All respect to Donald Cerrone, but he had been on a little bit of a skid coming into that fight. Dustin Poirier is not. Dustin Poirier, by all accounts, I don't think anyone would disagree with this, Ariel. Dustin Poirier is one of the best 155-pound fighters in the world. This is not McGregor picking his opponent. This is not a cherry-picking deal. This is not a favorable matchup. Yes, he's already beaten Dustin Poirier, but I don't think there's anyone out there saying that Dustin Poirier is not a willing, able, and excellent lightweight who is on the verge of possibly getting another title shot. And he just coming up with a win over Dan Hooker. So I think that in every way, this fight makes sense.
So I'm happy that you said that because I agree with everything you just said, especially about Dustin Poirier. I think he's a much better fighter than the one Conor beat in a little under 2 minutes back in September of 2014. I think he's come a long way as a 155. Remember, several years ago, he got knocked out cold by Michael Johnson. He's come a long way as a fighter. He's got a lot more confidence. He's a much better fighter since teaming up with Mike Brown and the guys over at American Top Team. However, it feels like he's getting absolutely no respect. Now, I haven't seen the lines, at least as of right now, but I put out a poll, and I know those are informal, but like last time I checked, 75% of the people were saying that Conor was going to win. I see, the casual sports talk shows just completely dismissing Dustin because of how the first fight went. I think people don't understand that this guy has improved dramatically since their first fight. I don't think this is the cakewalk that everyone says it's going to be.
Cakewalk. I mean, I can't even, anyone who knows anything about the sport, and again, all due respect to people on those shows, but you have to look at what Dustin Poirier has done since then. First of all, that fight back in 2014, that was a long time ago. 2014 is a long time ago. A lot has happened since then, namely Poirier moving up another weight class. He has looked substantially better at lightweight than he ever did at 145. His body is filled out. He's much stronger. He has more power in his hands. His wrestling is better. I mean, in every possible way, he is good. He earned a title shot to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov. And he lost that fight like everyone else has done against Khabib Nurmagomedov. But Dustin Poirier is right there again among the best lightweights in the world. And this is the biggest challenge for Conor McGregor in years. It'll be, 2018 was when he fought Khabib. So it'll be Conor McGregor's biggest challenge in 3 years. And you cannot, I cannot overstate this, Ariel. Dustin Poirier is no cakewalk. He is not, I could even see him being the favorite in this fight in some ways because of his activity and who he has beaten and who he has fought lately. That probably won't be the case because of McGregor's name, but it's a pick 'em fight to me. I mean, it can go either way.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Come January 23rd, I said at the top, Dana White recently said no title on the line for this fight. Do you think come January 23rd, there's either an interim belt or the undisputed belt on the line? Of course, we know that Khabib retired, but Dana White continues to say, and now even more confidently, he is coming back. Do you think that they put a title on the line, either interim or undisputed, come January 23rd? And while you answer that, whether yes or no, do you think there has to be a title on the line if Khabib's future is somewhat in doubt?
I think a lot of it will come down to what Habib says over the next few weeks, and I know he's going to go back and speak to his mom and kind of weigh things, I guess. But I don't think this fight needs a belt. I could see them putting a belt on it because that has been something the UFC has done over the years to even add more cachet to a main event. They put an interim belt on the line, or they put the undisputed belt on the line if need be. I don't know unless something drastically changes from here if Habib will relinquish or get stripped of the title. I don't think that will happen. If there is a belt, it could be the interim title, but again, I just don't see the necessity to that because let's be honest, if Conor McGregor wins this fight against Dustin Poirier, it's almost like Conor is an interim champion every time he fights because he's always that close to the belt. He's always within one win of getting a title shot. And that's no different here. So he doesn't need any kind of interim title in this case. If it bumps up the pay or something, maybe he'll take it, but there's no reason for that. And for Poirier, he's already been the interim champion. It's kind of, been there, done that for him. Of course, it would help him more than it would McGregor because of McGregor's name to have an interim title, but I just don't see the necessity. To me, this fight doesn't really need anything else other than Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor, January 23rd, wherever it might be.
I agree with that as well. I don't think they need a title. And I would be surprised if Khabib relinquishes the belt to open the door for Conor to fight for a belt. I mean, you might as well hold on to it. There's no rush to strip him. He just fought last month. So
Right.
I don't think, honestly, I think you could do a McGregor. I am so curious to see how a McGregor fight does on pay-per-view in the midst of a pandemic because we see all the numbers going up. There's a demand to see him back. I am really curious to see how this does. You could do it as a one fight pay-per-view card, and I think it does monster numbers. I think it does the most numbers that we've seen since they crossed over to ESPN Plus pay-per-view. And I don't know if you agree with this. I'll close with this, but it's amazing. Here we are. It was last Thanksgiving that we found out that Conor officially was coming back, but it was around this time, Thanksgiving in the United States is next Thursday, a week from today. And we found out that he was coming back in early January, right? Exact same time as this fight is taking place. It feels like life has been put on pause since March, since the pandemic hit. It almost feels like deja vu all over again. Conor's going to come back. He's going to talk to us about, fighting 3 times and getting the belt back in the season. It's almost like nothing has changed over the past. Of course, everything has changed and nothing is the same, but it just kind of feel like I got a weird sense of deja vu when this got announced today at around the same time as his return fight last year got announced, and he's fighting at around the same time next year as he did earlier this year. It's just weird, Marc. Weird things going on, but hopefully this is a sign of better things to come in 2021.
It's just this year, right? It's like this year is almost like a mulligan. It's like nothing that happened in 2020 really counts in the real world because it's been so wacky. It's been so strange. But maybe that is kind of the first nugget, the first kernel of normalcy moving into 2021. Conor McGregor's back in the UFC. It's gonna do big money on pay-per-view. It's gonna get a lot of eyes. A lot of people are gonna be interested. And then, maybe we can move on with this year and things will get better. It doesn't seem like they're getting better right now at this moment, but maybe in a few months from now, 2021 comes. I'm trying to be hopeful here because I know that a lot of signs are that things aren't that great, but for the MMA community, it's always good to have McGregor back. It just feels bigger, right? It just feels when Conor is around, things are bigger. The bigger shows are paying attention. It's like all eyes are on our little sport here when Conor is fighting. So that'll be how we'll kick off 2021, the same way that was how we kicked off 2020. Hopefully 2021 is a much better year than 2020.
Okay, last thing, one word answer, just one word. Right now, here we are.
I can't do
one word. November 19th, right now. You can change in 2 months. You can change your response, but right now, one word answer, who wins? McGregor or Poirier? One word.
Poirier.
What? You're just being Morundi the heel again, like back
You
in the
can't put me on
streets
the
of New York.
spot like
Okay,
this.
fine. That's fine. No, that's great.
Yeah,
I love it.
spot.
I'm not, I don't listen. I don't disagree. I just said I think people are sleeping on him. I remember you've always picked against McGregor, dating back to UFC 202 when we were in the Sea of the Irish, and then 205 in New York City. All right, we'll have plenty of time.
Almost every time I've picked against McGregor, he has gone on to win.
It's a weird thing.
Fight. So McGregor fans, take that at face value. Maybe this is a positive thing moving into December and January. But I don't like to make picks until weigh-in day. I like to see what
fair enough.
The weight cut looks like.
We'll see if you.
So that was a little bit of an ambush. I'll let you off this time, Helwani, but next time you better let me know. You're gonna put me on the spot.
We'll have plenty of time to dissect this matchup over the next 2 months, but the good news is it is done. It is official. Both Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor have signed their respective bout agreements to fight one more time on January 23rd. Main event, UFC 257, 155 pounds. It's good to have McGregor back in the mix, and this is a fascinating matchup. For Marc Raimondi, I'm Ariel. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you next time.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.